Online dating has completely changed how we meet people. A few swipes, some messages back and forth, and you're suddenly getting drinks with someone who, just a decade ago, you never would have crossed paths with. Most dates are awkward at worst. Some lead to relationships. A lucky few end up in love. But sometimes you meet someone who isn't who they say they are. Sometimes the date doesn't end when you think it does. And sometimes people disappear. These are 3 terrifying true online dating horror stories, submitted by viewers and compiled from real-life events. Let this be a reminder that behind the perfect profile pictures and witty bios could be something sinister. This story comes from a guy named Travis who used to live in a mid-sized town in Ohio. He was 24 at the time, single, working a job at a car rental place, and honestly, just looking for something casual. He matched with a girl named Alicia on Tinder. She was pretty, had that kind of indie girl-next-door vibe. According to her profile, she was into horror movies and dark humor, which immediately hooked Travis. Their conversations were flirty, quick, and kinda sarcastic, right up his alley. After about a week, she invited him over to watch a movie and chill. Red flag in hindsight, but back then, Travis was stoked. She said her house was about 30 minutes outside of town. Kinda rural, but not completely off the grid. That night, he drove out, following her pin. The roads got darker, the houses sparser. By the time he pulled into her driveway, he was basically surrounded by trees. Alicia answered the door in sweatpants and a hoodie. She looked a little different from her pictures, not in a bad way, but a little more tired, almost pale. Still, she smiled, invited him in, and the house smelled like fresh laundry, which was comforting. They sat on the couch. She put on a movie, some old black and white slasher flick he didn't recognize. About 20 minutes in, she asked if he wanted a drink. He said sure. She got up and disappeared into the kitchen. A few minutes passed. Then 10, then 15. Travis paused the movie and called out, "You good?" No answer. He got up, walked into the kitchen, and she wasn't there. The back door was locked. There was no sign of her. Now he's confused. The house is quiet. Too quiet. He calls her phone, rings once, then goes to voicemail. Then he hears a faint knock. Not from the front door. From beneath him. He realizes the sound is coming from under the kitchen floor. Like from a basement. He looks around, and there, by the fridge, is a small door, almost hidden behind a curtain. It's cracked open. Travis calls out, "Alicia?" No answer. Just another faint knock. Something tells him, do not open that door. He backs up and starts heading toward the front door, when he hears a new noise behind him, a floorboard creaking. He turns and sees Alicia, standing silently at the top of the stairs leading from the basement. Only, her eyes are wide, too wide, and she's smiling, not playfully, unblinking, teeth showing, frozen. He says something like, "Hey, you okay?" She doesn't answer. She just tilts her head. That was enough. Travis bolts for the door. As he runs, he hears footsteps racing behind him. He doesn't look back. He jumps in his car, reverses so fast he nearly hits a tree, and peels out. Later that night, he blocks her number and reports her on the app. But here's the kicker. When he looked up the house on Google Maps, it was listed as abandoned. Had been for almost 2 years. He doesn't know who or what that girl was, but her profile was gone the next morning. Story 2. The Long Drive. This one comes from a woman named Lex, who lives in Idaho. She was newly single, just out of a bad relationship, and cautiously dipping her toe into online dating again. She met a guy named Brent on Hinge. Looked rugged, outdoorsy, kinda cute in a bearded truck-driving kind of way. Said he loved hiking and road trips. They talked for weeks. He seemed charming, a little quiet, but very polite. She liked that. Eventually, they planned to meet up for a weekend hike, but the trail was about an hour away from her place and 2 hours from his. He offered to pick her up and drive together. She almost said no, but figured it might be fun. The day of, he pulled up in a dark green pickup exactly like he said he would. He looked just like his photos, even brought her a coffee. They drove, talked, listened to music. For the first 20 minutes, everything was totally normal. Then, things started to feel off. First, he missed the exit. She pointed it out and he just said, "Nah, I know a better way." Then he started taking turns that didn't make sense. Dirt roads, less traffic, more trees. Eventually, they were in the middle of nowhere, no cell signal. Lex started to get nervous. She asked, "Where are we going?" He just said, "Shortcut." That's when she noticed something else. There were no hiking bags in the car, no water bottles, nothing to suggest this guy had any intention of going on a trail. Then he said something that made her stomach flip. "You ever think about how easy it'd be to just disappear out here?" She laughed nervously. "What?" He glanced over at her. No smile, just repeated, "You ever think about it?" Now she's panicking inside, trying to play it cool. She said she was feeling sick. Asked if they could pull over so she could throw up. He kept driving, so she unbuckled her seatbelt, leaned toward the window, and opened the door. They were only going like 25 miles down a dirt path. She jumped, rolled into the brush. She said the guy slammed the brakes, but she didn't wait to see what he did next. She bolted into the trees and hid, staying silent while her heart tried to tear through her chest. Eventually, after what felt like hours, she made her way to a ranger station and called the cops. When police followed up, the profile was gone. The truck wasn't registered under the name he gave. It was stolen. They still don't know who the guy was. But if she hadn't jumped from that truck, she might have ended up another missing hiker headline. Story 3. The Locked Window. This one comes from a guy we'll call Aaron. He was 29, living in LA, and had been using Bumble casually while working long hours as a graphic designer. He matched with a girl named Naomi. She was stunning, dark hair, piercing eyes, and had this mysterious bohemian vibe. They met at a downtown bar for drinks. Conversation was smooth. She was intense but fascinating. Asked a lot of questions, personal ones. She liked to stare when he answered, made it feel like she was studying him. At the end of the night, she invited him back to her place. He declined, said it was getting late. She seemed disappointed, but not mad. A few nights later, she texted him asking if he wanted to hang again. He said sure, but had to work late. He got home around 1 a.m., went through his normal routine, shower, microwave burrito, flopped onto the couch to scroll his phone. Then he saw a message from Naomi. "Cute place." He froze. He hadn't told her where he lived. He replied, "Huh?" She said, "Nice couch." At first he thought she was joking, but then he heard it, a faint creak. From the window behind him, Aaron turned slowly and saw the curtain shift, just slightly. He jumped up, flipped the light on, and someone bolted past the window outside. He ran out, but they were gone. The next day, he found tiny shoe prints in the dirt near the wall, the kind you'd only notice if you were looking for them. She never messaged again. Her profile gone, like she never existed. But for weeks, he couldn't sleep. He'd wake up to the sound of footsteps and find his window unlocked. Even now, he swears he double-checks every lock before bed. Online dating is convenient, but it comes with a level of risk that's easy to ignore when you're staring at a screen. Profiles can be faked, names can be lies, and intentions can be deadly. So, the next time you're swiping, remember, that stranger you're meeting might be hiding more than just a bad ex or weird texting habits. They might be hiding something much, much darker. Thanks for watching. If you've had a disturbing experience with online dating, or anything creepy you want to share, drop it in the comments or send it in. You might just hear it in a future video. Until then, lock your doors, trust your gut, and be careful who you match with.